to Reality Tea Times 2, podcast where we discuss all the trash reality TV we love to hate. I'm Janika, and today we're going to be discussing Love and Translation. So, we don't really have anything to discuss on the top of the episode. I do have some hot goss for you guys, but I'm going to save it for when we do Diaries because it's actually not going to be a whole lot. Diaries is going to be the last 2 episodes. So I'll put some hot goss over there. Also, just a quick announcement because Love is Blind is going on right now. And my focus is on that, especially because I am doing some episodes with Sharon. Bachelor might be late. I'm gonna try my best to not have it late, but that might be late. It's, I usually get it at least done by now so I can get it out by tomorrow. Today's Thursday. But that might not happen this week just because I have to put my focus on Love is Blind. So that might be late. Married at First Sight, I know there hasn't been anything. My plan was to just focus on the current episode that just came out. So I'm gonna try my best to get that done, but if I don't get Married at First Sight done, then last week's episode is going to be abandoned, and I'll try to do this week and next week's episode together, but we will see how it goes. Like I said, main focus is on Love is Blind right now, and it's getting easier, but we still gotta do them. So with that said, stay patient with me. We're getting there. But without further ado, though, let's go through Love and Translation Season 1, Episode 4. Jay's is a crowd. 3 is a crowd. Anyway. Dylan, we see him just working out with Tulai. He's just trying to give her some attention before he goes on his date, which is very telling. I don't know, I feel like Dylan is the playboy, but he actually seems to care about Tulai and how she feels. Maybe that's a playboy thing, though. I don't know. But I find it very interesting that he really does give Tulai the attention that he knows she needs. I mean, Khalil's in a different spot. He doesn't think Jennifer's still into him, so he doesn't really think about giving him any attention. But Tripp has Gisele, and he is not giving Gisele any time at all. And he's the one that says he's the hopeless romantic. So I don't know. I find it interesting. I gotta give Dylan some props for giving Tulai some attention. That's because he knows that's what she needs. Gisele needs the attention too, but Tripp is like, oh, well, we're on this date later, so, I don't know. But we'll talk about him, so. So we see the ladies are getting ready now for their dates, and someone says that Dylan was all over Sarah in front of Tulai and makes the accusation that he doesn't care about how anyone feels. He's going to do what he wants to do. And if that day tells him to be all over Sarah in front of Tulai, then so be it. Or vice versa. They pretty much say, well, he is a fuckboy, so he doesn't care. Which is also very interesting because I think someone has sex with somebody. And I think it's Dylan has sex with someone. I don't know who the someone is. I don't think it's Sarah. I think it's Tulai. But I don't know how this is gonna play out, but I don't know. I think women are definitely on to something. So the dates are starting. And everyone's kind of doing their own thing. And Khalil and Heidi are going shopping for food. They're going to be cooking together. And they walk into this shop and the chickens The dead chickens, the skinned chickens, are just hanging around from their feet above the counter. And she is shocked by this. She's not used to seeing this. And when the guy, the store clerk, is butchering the chicken because they're having chicken, she is just not about this. She's freaking out. And she's like, this would not happen in Japan. Now, I don't know if anyone else was as ignorant as me. I know this kind of thing happens in China. I think we've seen that. I think that's common knowledge, whether you've been there or not. I thought they would have done this in maybe any Asian country. Like, this is normal. That's my ignorance. I did not think that it would be any differently. So I again learned something here because she's saying this would never happen in Japan. And honestly, I don't know if, I'm sure there are, like, if you go to a butcher shop here in Canada, like, that happens, but I don't know if we actually see, I've never entered a butcher shop. There's no reason that we need to enter a butcher shop unless you want, like, a particular cut of meat that you can't easily get at the grocery store, but that is also very expensive. So no one's doing that. Yeah, I never would have thought that Japanese culture wouldn't do the same. So thank you, Heidi. I learned something again. I mean, I literally said this to actually my other co-host the other day, just offhand, and just kind of said, I'm actually learning something about Japanese culture. Like, this is, I'm interested. But yeah, she tells the clerk thank you in Spanish. She's okay. Gracias. It's great. We want to learn some English. But they do some more shopping, do some other getting some other things that they're going to need for cooking, and they're definitely having a great time together, which I'm kind of happy about. So Sarah makes a comment about how she wants Dylan to talk to her more and not just focus on July, which, yeah, I hear her. However, I feel like in a way, even though Dylan keeps saying he hasn't made his choice, he's still exploring everything. I think deep down, though, he's made his choice because he's out here working out with July before they go to the gym, before he goes on his date. And then once he comes back from his date, going ahead here, but once he comes back from his date, he spends more time with her again. He is pretty aware and cares about what she needs. I think he likes Sarah too, but this connection he has with July, there's no pretending it doesn't exist. And I think that is why the women seem to have a problem with July. Because they are very aware that Dylan is really into her. And, that women get jealous, right? We get jealous if someone we want or like is giving focus to someone else. It's not a great feeling. But anyway, back with Lady and Tripp. No, I am definitely missing something here. What the hell? Okay, guys, some of my notes seem to be missing. So if I'm missing anything, I apologize and don't know where all my notes are. Anyway, so the note I have here with Lady and Tripp, it is from when they go to eat food, but they do go to a different place. I mean, I didn't write much from it because I didn't really, there wasn't a lot there really to talk about, but they do go to like a jewelry store and they kind of like pick some stuff out for each other and whatever, and there's not a lot of talking really going on or really getting to know each other a lot going on. A lot of that happens going forward, but just so you are aware, if you didn't watch the episode, that's what happens. They just kind of go to like a little jewelry store, pick out some stuff or whatever, and that's kind of it. So now they're at the restaurant, and this waiter comes up. And guess what, guys? He also doesn't speak any English because Tripp is like, oh. And they do kind of figure out what he's going to eat, and he don't have a burger, I believe. So, anyways, they talk about each other's families, and, you know, he really, I feel, struggles to communicate with her. He communicates like a caveman. I think the person who has maybe the best idea for communicating is Khalil and Heidi, actually, the both of them together. Because I don't think the same would have applied with Jennifer. They find this way to communicate with each other that is actually effective. And Dylan is actually pretty good as well. He seems to have a great way of knowing what not just even Sarah, but to lie or saying to him. Tripp, not even close. I don't know how Tripp is even managing here. And when they do figure out a good, or at least Leedy finds a great way to communicate with him, not just saying words, but actually using visuals with him, he still doesn't fucking get it. He's still like, what'd you say? He's actually really bad. So then he kind of asks her, like, well, how old are you? Or she asks him, I believe, actually, how old he is, and he says 30. And then he asks, how about you? And she is 28 years old, and she actually uses like a 2, and then uses, maybe what she should have done was actually do 8 with her hands. Like, you can do 8 with your hands. What she ends up doing is actually just doing like 2 small circles on top of each other, and honestly, it doesn't even matter because it looked like a 28. My guy says, oh, you're 20. Oh, look at that. You don't seem at all like your age. You seem very mature. And he's shocked that she's 20 because you fucking idiot. She's not 20. She's 28. It's like, age doesn't matter. Age doesn't matter. And that's how he starts saying it. I'm like, wait, what? Age doesn't matter. And I'm like, sir, she's only 2 years younger than you, not 10. Like, he's such an idiot. Tripp is an actual idiot. He really is. I actually thought, like, oh, he's the oldest one here. He's probably, really ready for this. And I'm not saying he's not ready for this, but, he's older. He's going to be, a little different than the others. Blah, blah, blah. It's going to be fine. I actually think Khalil is probably the better one of all of them. Like, I actually think he does want to do this. I think he actually is serious. And I think he really does like Heidi. I think Dylan's a fuckboy. And I think Tripp's an idiot. Like, oh man. Anyway, nonetheless, he's feeling good. And he's feeling safe with Leedy. And he says that he wants to spend all of his time today with her. So he's going to be really focused on her tonight and only her. Hold on to that, because I don't think that was the best idea. And we'll get to why. But meanwhile, back with Khalil and Heidi. She tells him that she learned her cooking from her mom. Meanwhile, Jennifer, is a little jealous. Okay, so yeah, I've skipped ahead. This is not where it happens because I was not trying to figure out where it happened. So I'll say it now in case maybe I do say it later, but I'll say it now. I think it happened before this conversation. So they go to the house, both Khalil and Heidi, because they're gonna be cooking at the house. And they go into the kitchen and they're getting prepared. They're going to start doing some cooking and whatever. And Jennifer and the other ladies have already gotten food ready. They're sitting at the table getting ready to eat. But then Jennifer's like, oh, I need a glass or a cup or something. Should I go in there and get it? And I think it was Gisele said, go for it. And I was like, wait, did you really need that cup? Did you really need that glass? Or you just trying to find an excuse to go in there? Because like production or whoever told them, okay, go get some food because Khalil and Heidi are going to be in the kitchen on their date. We don't want you guys in there. So, figure your shit out before they get here. So she goes in and gets a cup and interrupts the date while Heidi is like at the sink doing whatever. Khalil's doing whatever. And Heidi's like, I don't like when Jennifer comes in here. I don't want her in my eyesight. She's aggressive because she's jealous. She wants Khalil and all of this. And I'm like, first of all, Jennifer doesn't want Khalil. They have the absolute worst dates. He doesn't even know you fucking exist anymore. And you're over here thinking you stand a fucking chance? You gotta start from ground zero. Because meanwhile, he is connecting with Ida. I think that's the best choice for him. Is her, not you. But anyway, that happened. So now when they're having the conversation together about how she learned how to cook, she is like kind of eavesdropping, I think. I don't even know if she's eavesdropping or if she's just not in the mood or whatever the hell, but it looked like she was eavesdropping. And she's like, I hope that they have the worst date and that they don't like each other after this. That's what she's hoping for. Then the women switch up on July now, saying that she's in a love triangle, Dylan, Sarah, and her. And they're just making fun of her. They're just teasing her. And she kind of knows this. And she's just like, I know you're all like this because you're jealous. I can't help that I have a connection with him. Like, what the fuck? It's so dumb. Anyway, Dylan and Sarah. Okay, and that too. Where is all of my notes, guys? Sorry. I don't know what happened. But anyways, Sarah and Dylan, their date, they basically were just kind of like at a bar of some sort, and they, there's not a lot to really talk about there either, but they talked about the fact that, like, he's like, oh, because they're right by the water, is very nice, and she's like, do you want to go swim with me? And she's like, no, you don't swim. She's telling him that he doesn't swim, and he's like, no, I can swim. But she's basically telling him, you don't swim no more. But she also then says like she was a lifeguard and all of that, and they kind of talk about those guys. And actually, again, like I said, they communicate with each other very well. Um, so yeah, it definitely, went well with them. So there's really, again, not much to really talk about there, but she does kind of say like, I think to him, actually, that's probably been my first half of my thing here. I have the first half of that, the last half of it up top here in my notes, but like I don't know what it is. But she tells him that she wants him to focus time on her and not just on Tulai. She tells him that. So, but anyway, doing the best I can here. I don't know what happened. Anyways, moving on. But like I said, Dylan and Sarah back at the house now. And as soon as they walk in, he immediately asks to like, can we go talk? Like immediately. She tells him, while they're just chilling on a hammock, that the women are strange with her. But he says, oh, they're going to be strange with you. Because he also knows, like, we have a connection. They hate you, whatever. He's like, but your conversations with them might be bad, but your conversations with me are going to be good. So don't worry about them. And I thought that was great too. And that's the thing. When you have the support of someone you like, just, you can get through anything, honestly. Or love when you get to that point. But yeah, he handles himself great. And then they're just kind of chilling on the hammock. They're cuddling on this hammock after he literally just came back from a date with Sarah. Like, I mean, I think Dylan should have done a little bit of a Tripp, and I think Tripp should have done a little bit of a Dylan. They need to just do a little bit more of that, kind of focus a little bit more on the person they went on the date with, and then go and talk to the person that you had a date with before. But anyway, so Khalil and Heidi are having their dinner now over at the beach, and she tells him that she came here for him. This is the reason she's here, is for him. And she tells him that she wants to get to know him, because, like, she says it's difficult though because we have this language barrier, this wall between them, this barrier. And at first I thought he didn't quite understand what she was saying. I thought he was like saying, like, do you have walls up? Like, but he says, well, do you actually have walls up? Because I think he understood, oh, that means language barrier. He's like, but do you actually have walls up? Like, is that something you actually struggle with? And she definitely does. But yeah, they even though she has those walls up, like, she's obviously open to getting to know him. And I feel like they definitely are getting to know each other. Maybe it's difficult because they don't have their same language, to help with, like, they're able to talk to each other in either one of their languages, but they definitely are getting to know each other. And he tells her that she is his number one, but of course, like, he doesn't want to, he is realistic with her and says, you are my number one, but, there are other women here. I do want to talk to them, and you might see me talk to them, but I just want you to know that you're the number one. And she appreciates that. She says, I appreciate you telling me this. Because she says, if I would have seen him with other women after telling me I'm the number one, I would have gotten upset. So she's being very realistic here. Which is why I like her the most. Now Tripp and Lady are spending some more time with each other. He doesn't even know please in Spanish. Por favor. Are you for real, sir? Are you for real that you don't know that Spanish is por favor? Or please is in Spanish is por favor. Are you kidding? You can't be serious. I knew that please was por favor in Spanish since I was like 10. Even before I took any form of Spanish, before I ever got inundated with Dora the Explorer, I knew that please was por favor. Are you for real? You can't be for real. This guy really came from bumfuck nowhere in America, where we don't speak them Spanish, seriously. But I'm sorry, that's really bad. That's really bad. So yeah, he doesn't even know that. Basic Spanish. He then, like, he got like wine or whatever. He chugs the wine. I think it was wine. I don't know. They mentioned something about tequila, but I don't know if that was tequila. I thought it was wine. Maybe it was tequila. I don't know, but that's even worse. But he's like chugging this drink down, and I'm like, Jesus fucking Christ, my guy. And even she's like, whoa, okay. And then he's gonna have the conversation about, like, this is where tequila conversation comes in and whether or not he can handle tequila and whatever. Anyway. She says, like, asking about the Marines and all of that. Like, she's very interested in this. And she's like, if since you were that in the past, like, what do you do now? And he tells her, like, no, actually, she says, presently, what are you now? And I'm telling you guys, presently sounded very similarly in Spanish. Sounds very similar to presently in English. Okay? And this guy actually thinks that she says, oh, the president and the Like he also follows it up with that too. And I'm just like, are you kidding? She doesn't give a shit about who the president is, sir. She doesn't give a shit. She doesn't give a shit. No offense to Biden, but she doesn't give a fucking shit who the president is. She doesn't live in fucking America. Where's she from? Colombia? She doesn't give a shit. Like, no. But then he got it because he tells her that, he is a personal trainer, which we know. And then this weird thing happens. And he starts trying to teach her how to say Earth. Honestly, I'm flying right by this shit because it was the weirdest thing. He's trying to help her say Earth, and she's not saying Earth like how an English speaking person says Earth because she is Colombian. But nonetheless, he's trying to tell her how to say Earth, and because she can't say it properly, he's like, wait, no, she'll do it with me. Say er, er, that's what he's doing, and then he's like, okay, let's do the Earth, okay, let's put it together, Earth, it's still not great, but then they put like their heads together and they're doing like, it was the weirdest fucking shit, just for them to ultimately kiss each other. It was so fucking weird. Like, there was a better way to get to that and to that than actually doing what the fuck you guys just did. It was so weird. But moving on, let's finish up this show. So now there's going to be a lingerie party, and then all the women are downstairs ready to go, and the guys come down, and they're not wearing lingerie, of course not. Let's only objectify the women. Let's not do it to the men, but it doesn't matter. You know what? The men said, let's follow suit, because if the women are in their lingeries, we're usually probably going to be naked or almost naked. So let's do some of that. And Dylan rips her shirt. And then Khalil's like, well, I can't rip my shirt. I'm not going to rip my shirt. But he just like takes his shirt off all animated, and then like throws it at the women. It was funny. It was actually very funny. Tripp didn't do any of this. Anyways, Sarah, I find again, I mean, I want to like Sarah, but she's a little bitchy to lie, and I don't like that. And she's just kind of like, I don't think Dylan actually really likes Tulai. I think he only picked Tulai because he wants to make the other women jealous. And I'm like, what? Do you actually fucking hear yourself speak before you do? Because that doesn't make any fucking sense. He doesn't know who any of you fucking are when he picked Tulai. So, what the fuck are you talking about? You make no sense, my girl. I don't care if you want to take this approach of, I'm going to play hard to get because I want him to work for it. I'm not going to make it easy for him the way Tulai did. Fine, I get it. But you don't need to be bitchy about how his feelings are for somebody else. That's not okay. That doesn't make you look cute. But that's the other thing too. She's like, she does things to like get his attention, and I'm just like, she doesn't need to do anything. She already has Dylan's attention. He comes back from a date with you and immediately goes to Tulai. Girl, she's already winning, and you know it, and you hate it. He's with Tulai because she's gorgeous, and they caught each other's attention when they did the staring contest. That's why he picked her. That's why. And you want to know why he never picked you? Because I think he was trying to pick between Sarah and Tulai, because I think he felt the connection between both of them. But Tripp ended up deciding to pick you, Sarah, and you told Tripp no. He was scared to then ask you, because he doesn't know, shit, she's gonna say no to me too. That's why. Like, come on, girl. Don't be dumb. So, Then Khalil was kind of dancing with this Korean girl. Barely seen her, nothing there to talk about. And Dylan is dancing on, I forget her name. I wrote Iman. I think that's her name. But I wanted to say Imani, and I'm like, that's not right either. But anyway, I think it's Iman dancing on her. And I actually thought she wouldn't like that because she's like, oh, Moroccan men, they're very conservative and they're careful and they don't do things like that. But she's like, but I liked it. So I'm like, okay, leave with that, girl. We don't really need to hear about the Moroccan men because you don't want to be with the Moroccan men. You're trying to be with an American one right at the moment. Anyway, so Heidi is not partaking in the lingerie aspect of the lingerie party because, and I actually agree with her on this. Are you kidding? I could never have said to my boyfriend, oh, we're doing this like lingerie party. There's gonna be other men there. Are you good? He's gonna say, what the fuck are you talking about? No, I'm not good. Like, I'm with her on this. She basically says, like, wearing lingerie is meant for one person, not everybody, but for one. And this is weird to me. So I'm not doing this. But it also makes it very uncomfortable because she's like, I'm not getting any attention from Khalil because I'm over here in a corner, you know? So she's very frustrated at this point. Then, the fun part of the night. We only see Tripp with Lady the entire time because, as he had mentioned earlier, he was going to be focusing on only her tonight. And Gisele is fucking not okay. She feels like he is closing himself off to her because of her being with, because of him being with Lady. And she's not happy about it. Because again, look at the differences between Dylan and Tripp. Dylan is giving attention to the original girl. Tripp isn't, like, at all. And she tells Jennifer, if he wants to marry her, then leave. Go marry her. Since you're not focusing on anyone else but her anyways. And then all of a sudden, like, Tripp goes upstairs to his room. I don't know why. What provoked him to do? Maybe he needed a minute. I don't know. But he's not going to get the minute because Gisele is right behind him. And Gisele, can I tell you, in her lingerie, she looked fucking phenomenal. I don't understand how he was ignoring her. I don't get it. But anyways, she goes up to the room, following behind him, and she tells him, what is your problem? She's like, I left our date. I'm sexy. I'm like, why aren't you paying attention to me? Why are you only paying attention to her? And also says, like, you know, if you want to get married, then leave. Like, you're not focusing on me. And she's like, what the fuck? I love when she said, I'm sexy. But the whole Tripp barely got 2 words out. The whole time, Tripp was like, Gisele, 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 wait, no, wait, Gisele, this is in your head. And I'm like, actually, it's not in her head. She's witnessing you only focusing on Lady. And for you to say that it's all in her head after you made a decision to only focus on Lady, that is gaslighting. You're gaslighting her. Maybe not intentionally, but that is what you are doing. How dare you say it's in her head when it's literally, we can see it's not. She's frustrated because you're not giving her any form of validation. You're only focusing on the date you had today, which understandable. You can give that person some attention, but you should be going back and giving a little bit of something to the person you originally had the date with, just like Dylan is. Khalil's not doing that because he doesn't even think Jennifer likes him. So it's a totally different situation. And she basically says, I won't accept that. Fuck you. She is like, did you want to make me feel bad? And as he's like trying to talk, she's like, you talk too much. And she's like mimicking him at one point too. It's fucking great. And she's like, go fuck yourself. And she's like, I don't care. And she goes to leave. Meanwhile, this is when he says it's in your head, but whatever, we talked about that. But she ends up going into the bathroom instead by accident. I love her so much. She's like, this isn't the exit, damn it. She was supposed to have this amazing exit. Instead, she went into the bathroom. And then she's like, don't talk to me anymore. And then slams the door behind her. And he's like, what the fuck? And yeah, that's basically it for the episode. Next week looks interesting. Looks like we're going to have some dramas between Tripp, Gisele, Lady, and also during this whole situation, Lady was listening to the whole thing. I mean, she could hear the whole thing. I don't know if she understood the whole thing. I don't know how these translator things work. If you need to be in front of them, or if you can just hear everything. It doesn't matter where they are. But yeah, she was hearing the whole thing. But that is it for Love in Translation for this week. So if you like what you heard, please share us with everyone in your life. Please also rate and review. That helps our growth, which you can do at either Apple Podcasts or Spotify. And we're on every one of your favorite podcast apps. So make sure you hit follow, subscribe on your favorite app so you don't miss a single episode. You can connect with us by going to either Facebook or Instagram at Reality Times 2. You can also go to Twitter, TikTok, Reddit at Reality Times 2 Pod. And you can email us by going to realitytimes2@hotmail.com. Don't forget we have our website, which is at solo.to/reality times 2. And also, don't forget I have my other podcast with my friend Mikkel called the Next Take Podcast, where we talk about, well, just about everything over there. We're on every one of your favorite podcast apps over there as well. But you can get access to any links, any socials, anything like that by going to our website, which is solo.to/next take podcast. And you also can go to YouTube, which is Next Take Podcast as well. But of course, all of these links will be in the show notes. But that is it for now, guys. Thanks. Bye.